The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosinzia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available in print and ebook formats on Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartradio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosinzia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Mosinzia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Mosinzia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes, Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Mosinzia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com on over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartradio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music, and coming soon to Hamilton Radio every Thursday night at 9 Eastern at hamiltonradio.net. Also, coming to a few networks near you as well, too. Don't forget to take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, makes great gifts 24/7 for family and friends. Go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Mosinzia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also cool merchandise, T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Mosinzia. Check it out today. Also support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com at the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with a terrific gentleman who's a creator and founder of a wonderful new product, and it's sort of like making R2D2 blush here, and I'm having some as we speak. It's a brand new product, and it's kind of like an alcoholic seltzer, but it's very unique. We'll talk about that. And the company produced the world's first ketogenic alcohol, and it was different from the regular method. We'll talk about that. And of course, he's a serial entrepreneur with an incredible track record from real estate ventures to high-tech photography for National Geographic, and also to one of the first cloud-based system storages available to the public. We'll talk about that. And of course, he was also elite Division I athlete, incorporating biohacking to stay competitive. And how does he do it? We'll just find out. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios, along the sunny beaches as well, and having a wonderful drink, the creator and founder of KetoneAid R13, and I'm having a raspberry and lime as we speak, one of my favorites. Ladies and gentlemen, a toast to Frank Llosa. Frank, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's great to have you on board. And of course, I really love your drink as well, too, which makes it so unique. And you're the creator and founder of KetoneAid and the new product R13, which is a new ethanol free alcoholic seltzer. And your company produced the world's first ketogenic alcohol, which is different from the regular typical ethanol found in most drinks. And you're also a serial entrepreneur with incredible track record from real estate to high-tech photography for National Geographic, also to one of the first cloud-based systems available to the public. Also, you've been an elite Division I athlete, incorporate biohacking to stay competitive. And of course, this drink suppresses hunger, then stimulating, protects the brain and body, then damaging, contains 0 carbs and sugar, and energizes instead of tired and hungry. And before getting all that, while I enjoy this here, tell us how you first got started.
Well, got started in the ketone world. I mean, there's other startup world that I had with the cloud-based storage. And just real quickly on that, when the iMac first came out, the iMac Apple, it had no hard drive. So I kind of envisioned that people were going to be freaking out, like, well, how do I save files from this file to another? So then on a whim, just made a website called imacfloppy.com, which is just a web-based, place to store your files. And then you can log on. You can log on at school, upload your file, and then go home and log on and download the file, which today is obvious, but that was, I think, 20 years ago now. And back then you couldn't really email attachments very well. It would blow up your email and stuff like that. So that was the web-based storage. And I sold that to a .com that was about to go IPO. Maybe if I had stayed with it, it might have turned into something like a Dropbox or Google Drive, but maybe it was a little bit before its time. But we had, a good amount of subscribers, and it was cash flow positive after a couple months. And that was a fun, quick 9-month ride. And then I've done some stuff in real estate, commercial real estate with multifamily apartment communities, and then residential real estate brokerage firm. And then now I've shifted over to this new world of ketones and ketogenic diets and eating a keto lifestyle.
And how's your, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, the way that started is my wife's godfather is Dr. Richard Veach. And let's see if I have a book here. Dr. Richard Veach, for 40 years, worked at the NIH trying to find a way to make a product that mimics the benefits of fasting and a ketogenic diet without having to do the ketogenic diet. And he was frustrated that that the science was there, but he couldn't get any venture capitalists to just hand him $20 million. And his vision was to just make a tanker truck full of it and just have people, with the spout at the back, just taking their drinks, and easy as that. No marketing, no business needed, just get it done. And, the world doesn't work that way. So I helped him try to pitch some venture capitalists, but the initial pitch went like this. We think people will spend $60 a day for a drink that tastes like vomit. That wasn't too good of a pitch, because, there's CBD was really hot back then. And so, it didn't work. And then I said, well, why am I asking all these people for money if I had some success with the virtual floppy drive? Why don't I just use that money that was just sitting in the bank, because I was too conservative to put it in stocks or anything, because, stock market, Enron, all that stuff, it's kind of fake money.
And of course, everybody shied away from it, which is understandable.
Yeah. So then I decided to just put my money where my mouth is. And I asked Dr. Veach, why don't I just do it? And he said, okay. And it took a couple of years of research and development and 10 times more of the investment than I expected. But we were ultimately able to launch. And the biggest problem was making this drink somewhat affordable. It used to be one person paid $25,000 for one serving. And that's just one chemist kind of making it, to make one tiny batch takes a lot of time from one chemist. But then also Tour de France teams were spending $6,000 a bottle. And there's even this one epic story about how during a Tour de France, someone had dropped a bottle on the side of the road, and they were freaking out, radioing in, I dropped the bottle. And this guy, Greg Henderson, who was in the race, but on a different team, just looked at them and was like, what's the big deal? Go grab another Gatorade, water, whatever. And then he finds out when he gets in the car or gets in the bus, oh, no, that team is using this secret $6,000 drink. So then he was like, oh, now I understand, why they were freaking out for 5 miles. So it took a couple of years to finally get it down to, $30 a bottle. So this bottle is a 2-ounce bottle. And, we launched it with an Indiegogo campaign with a $25,000 target, and we hit $150,000. And, some Tour de France teams bought huge quantities because they understood, what that $6,000 bottle was doing for that other team. But none of the teams, even to this day, 4 or 5 years later, they still don't admit to using it. So it works so well that they'll admit to using all these other things like, like different gel packets and stuff like that, but they won't admit to using this because it works. And it's all WADA compliant. So World Anti-Doping Agency is compliant. So there's no problem there. But so for the last 4 or 5 years, we've been making the ketone ester is our main product called KE4. It tastes really, really rough, like a shot of ginger. So if you're expecting orange juice and you take this, it'll shock you. But most of our customers, they get used to it. I dilute it with 1 part water, 2 parts water to a cap full of the stuff. And but my wife makes fun of me. She just takes hers directly. She's like, "Why do you dilute it?" I'm like, "It doesn't taste good." And then we have another drink called KE1, which we came out with a couple of years later, which has 6 times more water, and it's just a lot easier to take. So we have people oftentimes start off with the KE1, unless taste is not an object. Then the KE4 is always better, stronger, cheaper. And that company is called KetoneAid. And we have actually a third product that we were sold out of for a couple months. I have one right here called Snake Water.
Oh, snake oil. So this is like different from snake oil back in the old days, huh?
Yeah. So it embraces that culture. And I'm making fun of all the companies that make all these claims up for their drinks, doing this and that. And our KE4 actually has on the side, no claims, just results. We don't even make any claims because you're not going to believe us. And there's inferior products out there that make claims that are 10 times, more than what they can actually do. So if we actually make real claims, it doesn't look real. So we just don't even make claims on that. People hear about it through Joe Rogan, Ben Greenfield, unpaid people talking about what they use and what the experts, celebrities, NFL, professional football teams use. But then the snake water is just embracing the exaggerated claims. So we say it makes you run 3 times faster, but then it has an asterisk saying, versus walking. It's just more of a fun drink. And that one is similar amount of ketones to the KE1. It's more dilute, but then we added like 15 other adjunct ingredients, like tea cream, a slow carbohydrate, just a whole bunch of stuff that really makes that one a really, really cool drink. So then recently, 4 months ago, started a new company, separate company technically, called Hard Ketones. And the Hard Ketones is where we launched the R13 drink that you were drinking. Now that's kind of confusing. That drink, it's confusing, but once people understand it and they have that aha moment, it'll just blow you away. And let me explain that real quick. So every drink today, beer, vodka, wine, is all ethanol based. I find that only 1 out of 4 people know that. Some people say, "Oh, I know there's ethanol in my gas tank." It's the exact same thing. You're drinking gasoline.
Interesting.
So ethanol is synonymous with the word alcohol, but technically the word alcohol is an umbrella of different molecules, including, for your hands, for the, COVID stuff, people put alcohol in their hands. That's not ethanol. That's a different type of alcohol that you cannot drink. So there's multiple alcohols. So what's in Hard Ketones is not ethanol. It's something called R13-butanediol. Don't need to really remember the name, but it's this fancy molecule that when you consume it, it goes through the liver and converts to ketones, beta hydroxybutyrate. Similar to when you're on a ketogenic diet, your body will burn fat because it runs out of glucose. It'll burn fat to make ketones. Now, let's not be confused. When you drink ketones, it's not burning fat for you. You're actually skipping the fat burning stage. All of my competitors that sell any type of exogenous ketone, they all say, drink this drink, and it puts you in ketosis, this state of, ketogenic state, in 15, 30 minutes. It's all misleading because the consumer hears that and they think, "Oh, I drink this, I do nothing, sit on the couch, and I'm burning fat." And it doesn't do that. It skips the fat burning. But this molecule, the way that we found it was, it's the starting material for the ketone ester. It's one of the 2 ingredients in the ketone ester. The ketone ester is 2 molecules bound together, not just poured together, but bound together chemically. One's called R-beta hydroxybutyrate, and the other one's called R13-butanediol, and they bond together. When you consume it, it enters into the bloodstream and it separates. The first part is beta hydroxybutyrate, also known as BHB, ketones. And the second part, R13, goes through the liver and makes ketones. So then I asked the scientists 5 years ago, why go through the hassle of making this ester bond, which makes it really, really expensive? Why not just drink R13-butanediol if it turns into ketones? And their answer was the mice were stumbling.
Huh.
The mice got drunk. So then they threw that out for human consumption. We don't want that because they're working on diseases and all the benefits that fasting and ketogenic diet can do. But then I saw an opportunity. I said, I think someone might want to stumble around like mice. And that's when we launched the product with just the R13 portion. We put it into a 12-ounce drink. So it's no longer tastes like jet fuel because it's diluted enough. And the first drink we had was a seltzer. And the idea was to make it lightly sweet, as little amount of sweetness as we could to cover up the, pretty nasty, foul tasting raw ingredient. And then the second drink we came out in that genre was the R13 GNT. So the same amount of the ketogenic alcohol, the R13, but in a smaller can. And it kind of tastes like a GNT. If you're a super connoisseur of GNT and you know the difference between high shelf gin versus low shelf, this is not going to taste as good as your high shelf gin, but for a non-gin, it has the juniper sense, and it tastes pretty good, especially if you drink it cold and with a lime. And next week we're coming out with a mule, and then after that a beer. So the idea is any drink that's made with ethanol can be switched over to this.
I was going to ask you about if it's going to be made into a beer. It sounds like you pretty much got this down here. Now, another question is, of course, you got the whole drinking and driving thing and everything else. Now, will this apply to like don't drink and drive if you have one of these here?
Yep. So on the side of the can in red, we actually put "Do not drink if intoxicated." Okay. And some people get tipsy. Usually, people need 2 cans to start feeling a little bit tipsy. So the end of the fingertips being a little bit of a buzz or feeling 10% lighter. Some people feel it on half of a can. They feel that. And some people need, 2 cans. But yeah, we recommend not, driving if you're intoxicated. But if you do get pulled over, it won't show up on a breathalyzer because the breathalyzer tests for ethanol. And this is not ethanol. So it'll be 0. But keep in mind, you can still be pulled over and you can have some sort of drug in your system, and you're also going to show up as 0.0. So it doesn't stop you from being, getting in trouble for driving under the influence. So we don't recommend, doing that at all, and being careful. It is an alcohol.
Okay. We just want to get that across to people as well, too. We'll talk more about the KetoneAid R13 and the other products as well, too. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and enjoyed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com on over 30 podcast platforms, and coming soon to HamiltonRadio.net every Thursday night at 9 Eastern, and other networks to follow. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. For great books, merchandise, and more, Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today. Also, support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com at the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with the creator and founder of KetoneAid and the new product R13, Frank Llosa, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And before we talk more about your drink and some of the other things as well, too, you've been a serial entrepreneur with incredible track record. How'd you first precisely became a serial entrepreneur?
Well, that's an interesting question. I went to the University of Virginia and I did an undergraduate in business, and I was really messing up the statistics of of the University of Virginia's business school because they like to advertise a 97, 98%, job secured by graduation. And I had no interest in a job. And they're like, but come on, this banking thing, this thing. And I had taken some photographs and had put them on my door because I lived at UVA on this area called the Lawn, where a lot of traffic goes by. It's the closest to all the, it's like the oldest dorms from 200 years ago. And I put these photos on my door, and this guy came by and saw them, and he worked for National Geographic, and he put a card under his door, and I started to assist him. And one of my first assignments was a photograph of a bioluminescent bay in Puerto Rico. So I got my foot in the door by working with him, traveling to Israel and different countries as his assistant. But then I got to pitch my own stories. And yeah, I got this. There's this bay, amazing bay in Puerto Rico that glows at night when you swim in it. And no one had been able to photograph it. And Travel and Leisure magazine said that it was impossible to photograph. And it took me 3 years and multiple attempts. And I finally got a good shot that was an insert on the cover. So not the main cover, but an insert on the cover of the National Geographic Kids magazine.
Nice.
That was cool. And even today, that photo of this person on a kayak is in the Natural History Museum in the Smithsonian in DC. Wow. And so it's been there for about 10 years, and it's been in 50 to 100 publications. So I just decided to, work as a freelancer straight out of school. I set up some internet photography-based websites. And so I've been very interested in how the internet can be applied to different things. So I went from photography and internet to internet and real estate, making a custom website that was 5-10 years ahead of the companies like Redfin and stuff. They've caught up now, but just being innovative on the technology side, and then stumbled upon this thing where I'd heard about my wife's godfather, who was talking about how he should win gold medals from the 2012 Olympics because the UK team did so well, and he was the one that was making the ketone ester that was supplying them. And I finally decided to take a deep dive to find out what this thing is, the ketogenic diet. And my only experience with the ketogenic diet was some guy, friend of mine, before we were going out to party, he ate a 1 pound block of cheese. Ooh. And I said, "What are you doing?" He's like, I'm losing weight. And I was like,
crazy.
I was like, "Good luck, buddy." But he lost hundreds of pounds doing that, just eating fat. Wow. So the ketogenic diet is 80% fat, 15% protein, and 5% carbs. Your body runs out of glucose, starts burning your own fat stores. It's similar to the Atkins diet, but a little bit different. And it really can work for many, many people. There's many, many people on Instagram that show all their before and afters. It's unlike any other diet. So people that say, "Oh, I've tried 10, 20 diets," that doesn't count because nothing is like this. This is completely in a class of its own. And I've been eating, not for weight loss, but for mental performance reasons. I've been eating a ketogenic and vegan diet for 5 or 6 years now. I just don't eat carbs. If I eat carbs, I feel dumber. So when I see a cake, I don't have this like urge like other people might have. I just see dumbness and I just stay away from it. And also when I'm reading my kids, I got 3 kids. If I'm reading them a book at 7 p.m. when I was on carbs, there would not be a night where I wasn't falling asleep and they'd have to wake me up. Got rid of the carbs, and that was just immediately gone. That was like the most immediately evident thing that I could point to. So yeah, it's just a different type of lifestyle. And there's this misunderstanding that, people think that fat is bad or fat creates fat, which is just not a true statement. So they vilify fat. So then they just increase their carbohydrates. So all these low fat cookies and stuff, they just skyrocket the sugar, and sugar is what makes you fat, not fat. So,
I was just going to say something about the so-called low-fat word that actually add the ingredient, which just makes it counterproductive. But yourself, you also been an elite Division I athlete, which incorporate biohacking to stay competitive. It's like, biohacking was just brand new. How do you manage to biohack to stay competitive?
Well, that was back in college. Actually, probably before I knew about biohacking. That was, 20 years ago. and I did run the half mile, 800 meters at UVA. So it was Division I. But now I define biohacking as using the science that hasn't been completely flushed out and just using it today, as opposed to waiting 10 years for there to be proof and evidence of it. So that includes intermittent fasting, skipping breakfast, ketogenic diet, some supplements, and for different ways to sleep, to optimize sleep, and really tracking. Biohacking is also about tracking data. So I have one of these Aura rings, and my wife allowed me to get a gold Aura ring, and that just counts as my as my wedding ring. I can,
I was going to say, will you marry me if you let me biohack?
So it's just tracking your data points. Wake up in the morning, we look at the data scores, and it says what your scores is. We even have a little bit of a competition or anti-competition with my wife. If we wake up and one of us has to take the kids to school, we check our sleep data, and whoever got the worst sleep score gets to stay in bed. So if I have a great sleep and she was up because of the baby and stuff like that, and she's got a 65, I've got a 95, I can take the kids, even if it's not technically my day. So that's what biohacking is, tracking. I also use a continuous glucose monitor. Super, super cool. You put it on a patch, and for 2 weeks, it shows you your blood glucose levels within, real time. So you can see the effect of eating rice, bread, pasta, fruit. People think the fruit is healthy if it's organic and locally grown. It skyrockets your blood glucose. So it could be healthy for certain people and certain diets, but for the most part, it's sugar. And today's fruit was not the same as fruit 300 years ago, that super juicy oranges. They probably 300 years ago ate something that might have the color orange, but was just, more dust than orange juice. So you can see real time, how your blood glucose levels go up and down. And if you're trying to be low carb or ketogenic, you can see what the low carb breads do. I had a 1.5 weeks of just really boring blood sugar levels. And then I ate this low carb bread and had this spike. So, that low carb bread wasn't, I guess, so low carb, or my body didn't respond well to it. So I cut that out of my meal plan. So I eat a lot of nuts, a lot of avocados, olive oil, liquid coconut oil is a staple to what I eat.
And how about homemade bread you make yourself? Do you recommend that?
I have made some homemade keto bread, and we can use almond flour and, some, being vegan, some egg substitutes. They're okay. I haven't tested my blood glucose levels to see how they react, but if they're made out of almond flour, that's better. But the more smashed, the more that the almond flour is ground, my understanding is that it makes it a faster carb. So if you have flaxseed, for example, actually, it's more of a fiber, but if you have coconut powder that isn't powderized so much, it's not going to get into your system as much as something that's powderized. So, but for the most part, I just lost the urge for bread. And I have these coconut wraps that are 8 inches by 8 inches, just flat, one ingredient coconut. So I can put my avocado or vegan pepperoni in there and some pepper slices, roll it up, and have my burrito.
Wow, that's really interesting. You make me hungry for veggies, fruits, and everything else.
No fruit.
Something.
Fruit is the devil.
Well, speaking of fruit, you've got some raspberry lime in there, and that's and of course, what other flavors do you also offer in R13 and your other products? I forgot to ask you about the flavors. I'm having raspberry lime right now, which is my favorite. What are some of your other flavors you offer?
It's technically raspberry lime, but it does not have any actual fruit juice in it, so it's just the flavoring. But our second, we're not going to actually have a different flavor of the seltzer because there's so many other drinks that we can go after. So the second, we only have that one seltzer drink, the raspberry lime, and then we have the gin and tonic. So it's not technically a seltzer; it's its own ready to drink. And then we have the mule coming out next week, which is a ginger-based ginger lime. And then hopefully the next one will be a beer, but it can be anything. We can make a champagne. We can make a hard lemonade. It just a mimosa. We have actually a Facebook group where people join and they vote on what they want next, what flavors they want, or different types of genre of drinks.
And what are some other mixed drinks you guys had in mind that could be coming out soon?
Yeah, we had the mimosa. The beer is the hardest because when you make non-alcoholic beer, you have to first make non-alcoholic beer. But then if you don't ferment the beer, the sugar is super high. You've got 10, 15, 20 grams of sugar. So how do you get rid of sugar? You ferment it and make it into alcohol, but then it has alcohol. So that's going to be a lot more R&D to figure that out. But yeah, we've got mimosa, pina colada, a champagne, sparkling wine. It's just absolutely anything that can be made. Now, I don't know if we'll be able to make like a straight up red Cabernet that's just a red, deep red drink, because I think that's going to be too nuanced to be able to try to mimic that with no alcohol. But maybe one day we'll be able to do that. But literally anything. You could tell me what mixed drink you like, and that could be, I'll add it to the list.
How about Long Island iced tea? That's got 7 liqueurs in it. I challenge you on that one. I'll definitely buy if you can master it.
Yeah, that could. Yeah, I'll definitely put that on the voting schedule and see what people think about that. Yeah.
And one more thing too. You talked about the snake waters as well too, and I meant to ask, what species of snake do you have in that snake water?
Oh, there's no snakes. I don't even know.
Snake oil salesman.
I don't even know if I could detect what type of snake is on the label.
Okay. No, that's okay. I mean, we just wanted to find out in case anybody asked. In the meantime, you've got all these products out there, products lines. Where can we find all your products at, and what's your website, and how do people get a hold of these great products like the R13, the G&T, and many more?
Yeah. So we're selling, there's 2 separate companies, but we're selling both drinks on KetoneAid.com, KetoneAid.com. There's no Y in there, and there's no E at the end. And then the hard ketones, if you go to hardketones.com, that will send you to our Instagram page where you can see people using it and doctors recommending it. It's actually a great drink for people that are trying to transition off of regular alcohol. So we had this one biohacking nurse, super, super healthy. And she got into this habit of drinking 1 bottle of wine a night after work.
Wow.
And she just would have this urge, and she'd take the wine, and it started off with 1 glass and 2 glasses. Before you know it, it was the bottle. She switched over to 2 cans of our stuff, and she said she just no longer had that visceral urge to open up the bottle. And for 30 days, I called her 30 days later and said, have you had any wine yet? And she had not gone back to wine. And then even better, 60 days later, I called her up and said, hey, how's it going? Are you still wine free? She goes, the good news is I'm wine free, but the bad news is I'm not drinking your drink anymore. And I said, that's not bad news. You transitioned off of an ethanol based alcohol, wine, to our drink, but then you transitioned off to nothing. So now she just has it occasionally for special occasions. She'll take it with her to a party, and that's just the perfect thing. Switching from one type of alcohol to another, but then being able to get off is the best. And the one thing we didn't really discuss with ethanol is why ethanol is toxic. So ethanol converts in the liver to acetaldehyde, complex scientific word, but that molecule, that is what's toxic. That's what creates the hangovers. That's what creates Asian flush. 1/3 of Asians will get red face with 1 drink. That makes you hungover, and the next day you're just groggy. This doesn't do any of that. So it converts, instead of to acetaldehyde, if it only converted to water, that would be amazing. Like, you still get a little bit of a buzz, no acetaldehyde, amazing. But this goes even better, 1 step better, converts to ketones. Then you have ketones in your blood, which have its own benefits, appetite suppression, take a can after work, skip dinner. And it might cost, $5 a can, but if you can skip a $20, $30 dinner, you're definitely going to be ahead. And eventually, I think in the next 5 or 10 years, it's going to give ethanol a run for the money. Except for price, ethanol will always be cheaper, just like the cheapest corn flakes at the grocery store aren't going to be healthy. It'll always be cheaper, but soon half of the aisle, I think, will be with this product, some variation of this product, and there'll be just no reason to drink ethanol anymore.
And we're certainly looking forward to it. What's coming up for Frank Llosa and more. You're listening to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor, The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's of Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with the founder and creator of KetoneAid, R13, Frank Llosa, after this time up.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to The Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back with the creator and founder of KetoneAid, Frank Llosa, here on The Mike Wagner Show. Learned a lot from you, Frank, and it's still a great product, and having it as we speak here. And what else can we expect from you in 2022 and beyond, Frank?
We're actually going to be phasing our ketone ester drinks into larger, ready-to-drink 12-ounce bottles. We found that some people that aren't used to or they don't understand what ketones are, the taste has been too much of an objection for them to even listen. So now we're going into diluting it much more into a 12-ounce can so it can actually taste good. So it tastes good first, and then people can learn about the benefits. They use it for fasting, intermittent fasting, helping them skip breakfast, skip lunch, and then also the sports performance. We supply 80% of the World Tour, Tour de France teams. So just more variety that tastes better. So our first goal is to get it out there, people understand it and use it. But then now shift. That was for the early adopters, biohackers, and people that are just really ahead in technology. Now we're going after the mainstream, and number one has to be taste. But we're not going to put things like sucralose and artificial sweeteners in there. We're still going to stay natural with the monk fruit, stevia, and stuff like that.
Okay, that sounds amazing. I'm looking forward to it. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
The biggest influence in my career. Probably my father. He aspired to be an entrepreneur, and he passed away before he really was able to get out of his accounting mold. But I've extended that desire, and hopefully I filled that gap.
You certainly did well at it. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Don't eat fruit.
I'll tell my wife and kid that. I'm going to say, Frank said not to eat.
No,
fruit.
maybe
I'll tell him that. I'm kidding.
The kids are fine. The kids are fine. But once you are over the age of 30, your body just doesn't react well to sugar spikes. And the older you are over the age of 30, your brain starts to not be able to utilize glucose enough. And let's say you're at an 80% utilization. You've got a 20% gap that your brain just can't take more glucose. So that's where ketones come in. It fills the brain energy gap up to 100%. But before people buy my drink, the first thing I say is, because if they buy my drink for cognitive performance, because it has other benefits for sport, but the first thing I ask them if they want it for cognitive performance is, what are you eating? And when they say fruit, I say, hey, before you buy my drink, try cutting out fruit for 3 days. Fruit, I actually say fruit, rice, bread, pasta, and fruit. Cut out those 5 things. And I repeat fruit twice because it's so important. Tell me how you feel. And they'll notice a significant improvement in their brain health.
Okay.
And then add the ketone esters to take it, to the next nut. next
Okay.
level.
We certainly will do so as well. Once again, we're with Frank Llosa, the creator and founder of KetoneAid and the new product R13 here on the Mike Wagner Show. Frank, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot from you. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. We'd love to have you back. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact? Where can people purchase or check out your drink and your amazing products?
Thank you.
And what's your website and more?
Oh, KetoneAid.com, KetoneAid.com, KetoneAid. You can buy both products on there. And then for the hard ketones, you can buy that on KetoneAid.com. But if you want more research on the hard ketones, if you go to hardketones.com, that will go to our Instagram handle. We can see people using it. And yeah.
We certainly do so. Once again, Frank, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. We'd love to have you back. We wish you all the best. You got a great future ahead of you.
Thank you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionsea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartradio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.